Aquarius mandala. We are in Aquarius season, which is an air sign. It's the water carrier. Sounds like water, so we think it is, but it's not. It's light, it's swift, it goes places. It's very much your solo energy, your highest purpose energy. You as like your ultimate avatar. For me, as you may have heard if I tell you in class, is pretty much Kate Blanchett in Lord of the Rings. That's what I'm about. But yeah, what is your highest purpose, highest sensation? How do you feel about that? Aquarius responds really well to these little aha moments. So there's a lot of pressure and release when it comes to the mandala, because from that pressure, from that time and attention that we experience in the body, we really ingrain the movement in. So when we go, we dance it, and we might find something new. We might find different pathways we wouldn't usually find. We might stumble and fall. We might find in that the ability to fly. So it's pretty cool. It's a different mandala in the sense that usually when we do it, we flow on the first circle, and then we pulse and we hold on the last. But we're going in reverse to create that extra pressure. So we're going to pulse on the first one to really get into the movement, hold on the second one, and then the final round, you'll know your way. So you just dance it. I've been teaching this for the past couple of days and seeing where people go in their body and seeing those little, suspend and releases it's been really cool. I'm really enjoying it. So the video itself is filmed on a rooftop in Morocco. This is slightly less glamorous of my flat in Manchester, but we are where we are. So with this in mind, let's carry on talking about it. So it's still a hamstring-based flow, but not as much as the hamstring in the ground that the Capricorn was. It's more that foundation so you can let the body go to different places. Aquarians apparently have a tendency to injure their ankles as well. So it might be pretty important to warm up through the feet, circle the ankles in the joint before we go into our mandala. But the yin part is very much focusing on getting into the hamstrings first. So we start with these dragon lizard lunges. You can take your foot a little bit wider. I always recommend that because often when we put it here, we just elbow ourselves in the boobs. So you can take it wider. You can come onto the side. You can drop into it. Wherever you feel it, this is how we warm the body. Then, because we do a lot of humble warriors with the rippling, which I'll show you in a second, we're also going to warm up with little shoulder openers. So we don't want too much pressure on the shoulder, just 6 or 7 out of 10. It's often good to take your glasses off if you've got them on and put something underneath your head to get comfy. So that's where the yin goes. So our mandala itself starts with humble warrior. Now this is one of my least favorite postures when I first began practicing, because I'm quite floppy and I didn't have any hamstring strength. So I just fall through the middle a lot. So my invitation to you, particularly if you are very mobile, is to push into the feet and keep your stance pretty short. Not too short that you can't get down, but you don't want to express into the widest parts of you, because when you do, the potential is just to lose yourself at the edges. We want this to be contained in the beginning. Now you interlace the hands behind you and a breath in, pull your shoulders down, lift up, and as you breathe out, let this ripple start from the base of your spine all the way over towards the floor. You keep going like this. Push into the heel to help you lift up, and it starts from the base of the spine. Then come down. Imagine your fists are going right the way over your head. So if, of course, this is too much on your shoulders, if you're very tight and compressive here, take your hands to the lower back. Breath in, chest up. Breath out, come down. That's absolutely fine for you to do. You can also make expressions with your arms if that's better. We move into the next part, which is our balance. So it's either a warrior 3 with the hands behind you if this is not good, or this bound warrior 3 maybe turning into a toppling tree. Now to get here, keep pulling your fists towards your heels and look forward. This helps you find this little moment of suspension. Take the back leg off first before you start to make a capital T shape, pushing into the right foot. With this sensation, we lift up and out the hips. We're not dumping into the hip flexor and getting very compressive and small. We're long and suspended in places. So it has that air-like quality of, I don't know, I'm thinking that plastic bag in American Beauty where it's like, isn't this the most beautiful thing you ever saw? It's not, but the way that it dances on the wind is pretty cool. Maybe it is the most beautiful thing you ever saw. I don't want to judge you. So we're here. We then release the arms and we land softly to Skandasana to the back. Now this can be your Skandasana, just a small knee bend, or you can be low. It literally just depends on what you want to do. These are so subjective. Some days I'm really into it. I've got my arms up and I'm wiggling around. And then other days I'm like, fuck that noise, and literally just doing this. So you choose. But we move to the back, move to the front, then we turn to the back of the mat and we come into our pyramid. My recommendation would be to be high on the back toes, a little softness in the knee, and we're reaching the body out. So I really feel, first of all, this stretch through my stomach as I'm trying to make it a little bit longer, pulling the ribs away from the hips and then dropping the head. And don't be afraid to let your head go, both on this and the humble warrior. It really is a nice sensation to get the whole body involved. Now then, this next part to move into your low lunge, start with your foot. Send your knee forward, drop your back knee and send your hips forward, and that's going to give you this impetus to make it a whole body arch into your low lunge. Vinyasa, you're gone. So, when you're doing this, just think about how the movement starts and how it ends. So, particularly when we're going from our low lunge back to our pyramid. It starts with the foot, ends with the hands. And this can start with the hands or maybe even the shoulders and end with the feet. So that way you find those suspensions at the top and at the bottom. So one of the things that I've put in a little optional transition is the Ekapada. So that's the one-armed balance jump backy transition. Some of you may have done it before, some of you may not have done, so we'll go into it real quick right now. In order to get this transition, your knee and your arm need to be pressed together very strongly, like you're in crow. The knee needs to be higher than the elbow. Your first option is to put your back knee down, lift your front foot, stay there, maybe mess with the idea of doing a push-up. Because to do the full expression in the pose, the biggest version, your face will hit the floor. It's inevitable. So you can put a cushion down if you want to. The second option is to take the back knee off and do the push-up. The third option is to start thinking about taking the back leg off. And this is where this is a hamstring move again, because it is literally just a hamstring curl if you think about it. You might think I'm very silly on that, but it's true. So your knee is on your arm. You can use this elbow to come underneath you as a shelf. So keep the elbows very tight. It's your chaturanga arms. So this is why we keep the triceps close, so we can use them to lean on. Chaturanga arms. Then what you could do is pull the knee in with your foot on the floor and then take it off. And you squeeze your hamstring. So it's just a hamstring curl to take off. That could be how you start. Then as you get more confident, when you're taking the leg behind you, push the ground and pull the leg away. So I'm pushing my hand into the ground and I'm imagining someone is pulling my leg back behind me. So that would be how you transition. And then if you want to, so sometimes when I'm doing it, I don't take my leg off, I just take it low and then go back to plank from there. But if you want to do the big one, you take it back anyway you want, bam, jump it. And you just got to believe. Send your head forward and your feet backwards. So there's a lot to mess around with there. There's a lot to play with. Keep practicing it. Keep looking into it and find your way of doing it that makes you really unique and really special in it. Your expression is the best expression. You don't ever have to take your back leg off. You don't ever have to do a headstand or a handstand. But if you fancy that little aha moment, then it's there, it's waiting for you. You just got to explore it. And that's why the first time we go round with the explorations, you can find those little pockets. So then when we come to dance it, it just gets easy. There's a couple of inversions in the practice too, in the middle, just because Aquarius apparently often struggle with circulation. And if you struggle with circulation, it's a good idea to flip yourself around. You can do any inversion you want, but if you want to get the therapeutic benefits of a handstand without doing a handstand, put your hands on the floor, look up, and lift your bum. 5 breaths there will be perfect. 10 breaths there will be perfect. But otherwise, pull the shoulders away from the ears. Choose where you're going to go. I'm going here for today. And think about that hamstring curl sensation again. Think about pushing through the heels and finding the lift in the body. Keep messing with all the different postures we explore here so you can find your groove and how you dance. So hopefully this has helped out. It's all about being you. It's all about being unique. So any questions, please feel free to type them in the box or contact me, email me, DM me, knock on my door. But I hope you have a great mandala. Lots of love.